Hey everyone, this is Russell Brunson again. Welcome back to video number 4 out of 5 of my interview with Tai Lopez. And I'm not sure if you've been watching this, but I counted on my fingers how many times we caught Tai picking his nose during the interview. It was super awkward. I'm just kidding. I don't know how we caught that screen capture, but it's pretty good. So right now, before we go into this part of the interview, I want to make sure you are subscribing because I do not want you to miss the exciting conclusions coming out very, very soon. Part 5 of the interview. This is part 4. Part 5 is coming soon, so make sure you subscribe so you do not miss it. During this part of the interview, we're going to talk about selling. I know a lot of people get really nervous when we talk about selling. How do I do it? And some people who are good at selling, they're good at selling one-on-one, like face-to-face, right? But for people like me who are super introverted, like I don't feel comfortable going to somebody and asking them for money. It feels so awkward and so weird and I hate it. So I had to learn how to sell one-to-many, to the masses, doing it through webinars and teleseminars and through funnels and things like that. And I'm going to talk about how that actually works because that way you can make money sitting behind your phone, sitting at your computer desk without ever actually talking to a human ever, which for introverts like me is really, really nice. So that's what we're talking about during this step of the interview. Jump right in and I will see you guys at the end of the video to talk about what's going to be happening on the exciting conclusion of this amazing interview.
Let's jump to the most advanced technique, number 5.
All right. Okay, so this one, you asked me when we were eating dinner over here, you said, how big is your sales team? So my sales team is one person that we use to build our team, and it's me. I'm the only salesperson. So I didn't build a whole sales team with thousands of salespeople like a lot of big software companies do. So I had to figure out how do I sell to the masses where it's just me speaking to a whole bunch of people, closing 100 or 1,000 or 5,000 people at a time. Selling one-on-one is different, right? Because I'm selling one-on-one, I have a chance to talk to you, and you have a concern, I respond, we go back and forth. And so there's a lot of good salespeople who sell one-on-one, but selling masses, I have to be able to hit like all the big problems at once and be able to try to resolve everyone's concern without actually resolving anyone's concerns individually. And so it's a big part of this whole book I teach, but this is the advanced strategy I want you to understand. Is that to be able to sell to the masses, to be able to convert 10 or 100 or 1,000 people all at once, you have to become very, very good at understanding what people's false beliefs are, okay? So people have these false beliefs that keep them from buying. There's a reason why people aren't gonna pick up the book and read. There's some false belief like, I'm not an expert, I don't believe that. So they all have something, right? There's a reason why people aren't signed for Mentor Box. They're not going to an event or whatever that thing is. They have these false beliefs that hold them back, right? And so our job as marketers is we have to figure out like, what's the false belief that they have. And typically what happens is that most of us have that same false belief at some time in our life. Mm-hmm. So we have to remember like what happened in my life? Why do I not believe that anymore? There's a reason why I don't do that anymore. Like what's the reason? What's the story behind it? And we have to go back in time and remember, okay, I don't believe that anymore because of this thing. And then when I'm speaking to masses, I tell stories in a way to help break people's false beliefs. Okay, so for example, probably the easiest one to map this out, and I'm not into network marketing, but it's a really good example of this, right? So let's say I want to sign up, let's say I'm in a room and I got 50 people and I want them to sign up for a network marketing program. So I'm thinking like, what is the false belief most of these people probably have? Like the false belief is that if I join this company, all my friends and my family are gonna leave me, right? That's a belief that a lot of people have, okay? And so I think like, well, why do they have that belief? Why do they believe that if they join the company, they're gonna lose their friends and family? And I'm like, okay, well, it's probably because one time in the past, one of two things happened. Number one is that they got into a company, they got all excited, they started calling their friends and their family, and they had a horrible experience, all the people hated them. Or number two is they were on the receiving end of that, and they got a call from their brother pitching them and wouldn't leave them alone. And so because of that, they're like, if I get involved in this company, I'm gonna have these people that just hate me, right? Yeah. I was talking to someone of this big network marketing, one of the guys in our community, and he told me the whole story. Because I asked him, I'm like, so that's your audience's false belief. Why don't you believe that? He's like, well, I did believe that for a long time. I was like, he had the same false belief. So tell me why that's no longer true. He said, well, I joined a program, I had a really bad experience and lost my friends and all the people stopped returning my calls, so I left. And a little while later I had a friend and he told me that you could generate leads online of people that actually were interested. He's like, I put up ads and they raised their hand and then they would fill out a form, then I would call them and he's like, everyone I called was excited to hear from me because they just asked me to call them and then they sign up. He's like, I didn't talk to a single friend or family member ever. And so I was like, hey, that's your story. Tell that story to this audience and this false belief that they're holding on to with all their might, all of a sudden, your story will shatter that false belief and they'll buy. Yeah. And so for me, like when we started ClickFunnels and I was trying to figure out how do I sell to the masses, I had to figure out like what are the false beliefs of my audience. And I figured out those false beliefs and then we put them in a presentation. What was the main
false belief?
There's always 3 false beliefs that people have. The first one is false belief about the thing that you're trying to get them into. So for me, it's funnels. So like, they're like, oh, well, I could use Shopify or I could be on Amazon or I can That's their false belief, is that they could do it a better way or some other way.
Yeah.
So I had to break that false belief. The second false belief people always have is their internal ability to do it. Like, that's cool, but like, I don't know if I can, I'm not techie, I can't do that. So I had to break the internal belief. And then there's always the third belief is an external belief, which in my business is like, well, so my first one, I convinced them they need a funnel. Number two is like, I convinced them they can do it because it's really simple. I show them ClickFunnels, like, oh, I'm an idiot, I can do it. And the third one, they always freak out. It's like, well, if I have a funnel, I don't know how to get people to show up.
Yes.
So I show them traffic, like, oh, here's how you get traffic. And they're like, oh my gosh. Now all their false beliefs are gone. They have to give me money. They have to sign up.
Yeah.
And that's like the big secret to mass selling. And that's the whole concept of this book is that. Like, how do I sell to the masses? Like, how do you do it? And it's understanding your audience's false beliefs about the thing you're trying to sell them, their internal ability to do the thing you're trying to sell them, and then the external fear they have that could be like, that they can blame on, like, I can't do it because my wife won't let me, or because I don't have traffic, or whatever that external thing is.
And you think that's the same in anything?
Everything
sell?
I've done.
I had Wolf of Wall Street here, Jordan Belfort, and he kind of has a similar framework of, you got to, number one, convince them that you are to be trusted as a human. Number two, he said you have to convince them that the company that you work for is to be trusted. And the third thing, you have to convince them that your product's to be trusted. That's kind of like what you're saying. Number one, you had to convince them that ClickFunnels has things that Amazon and Shopify don't have. Number two, you had to convince them that they could trust you, that it would be simple, almost they had to trust themselves.
Yeah.
And then the third one was the external one. That they had to learn to trust you, that they could get customers.
So let's talk about Lady Boss. Lady Boss are some of our best success stories. They don't do webinars, they do Facebook Lives. I wish I could share their numbers. They are doing insane numbers.
Making
Facebook
more
Live.
than $100 a year?
Yeah, a little bit.
Good. Success story number one.
So they're like, their external is like, okay, it's like, I convinced you that you need to follow our weight loss plan, right? So I come back to her and it's like, why do you believe this is the right product?
Yeah.
There's a reason why you started this company. Like, tell that story. And then it's like, you've tried other things before you came into this. Like, tell the story about other stuff you tried and why this worked. Boom, knocks down that false belief. And it's like, now, you didn't lose weight the very first time you tried it. What were your fears? Like, what kept you from doing it personally? And how did you break that? Tell that story. So tell that story, and all of a sudden the next one falls down. And it's like, now, what are the external things you blamed it on? Like, I can't do it because of why. Tell that story why you don't believe that anymore, and those things fall down, they have to follow you.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they're lying to themselves.
Yeah.
And it's
so the advanced technique is really, in some ways, you gotta be a master of psychology. It's not really marketing. Marketing is, you could take the M from marketing and it's mass psychology. You know, the M stands for the mass, and the marketing is just a superfluous words. It's really mass psychology. And one of the things you're saying is people follow stuff when they trust it.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed episode number 4 out of 5 of the interview series. We're almost done, you guys. I hope you've been enjoying this, but I need to make sure right now you do not miss the exciting conclusion. During the conclusion, I'm going to be talking about how we use Amazon and funnels together and a bunch of other really cool things that probably you've never thought about before, but once you understand them, it could change everything for you. So what I need you to do right now, there's a little button down below that says subscribe. Click on the subscribe button. That way you will get the notification when the next video comes out, and it's coming out very, very soon. I think you're going to love it. With that said, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you guys on the final conclusion, the exciting conclusion that's happening very soon on part 5 of 5 of the interview with Tai Lopez.